From Mexico watching.
Wow.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Canlis Community College. I'm Chef Brady Williams, the chef here at Canlis. And I'm with a dear friend of mine, Chef Miranda, from Musang restaurant here in Seattle in the Beacon Hill neighborhood, where she celebrates her Filipinx heritage through really delicious cuisine. Welcome, Mel.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me, Brady.
So glad to have you here. We're going to cook two dishes today. Dishes that you serve at your restaurant. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? Dishes that I'm familiar with in eating, but I've never made before. So I'm going to be learning alongside all you at home. And can we talk through that a little bit? I think first we should talk about our relationship. We're good friends and chefs, and
I think that's important.
yeah, that's really important. And we met, I think, shortly after I moved here through Nelson DeKip,
Yes.
who's our wine director here at Canlis. And I believe you were doing one of your pop-up dinners before
At
opening
Barno
Musang.
Corso.
Yeah, is that correct?
Beacon Hill. Yeah.
And just over the years, we've gotten to know each other. You cooked before you opened the restaurant for our staff at our staff party.
Yes.
I think it was like 2 summers ago or last summer?
Last summer for the Hawaiian
Nights pop-up.
nights, you guys had finished, and I brought the whole team.
Yeah.
And we did like a big
And you guys-
Filipinx.
Y'all
dinner
crushed
for
it.
you
Yeah.
guys. That was
We
a
had
lot
two.
of
We
fun.
had a lot of dishes too. Both of the dishes we were cooking today are dishes that we had that day. And we were talking beforehand, but I was like, I haven't actually formally eaten in your restaurant because you
have to
soft opened in like December of last year,
Yes, that's true.
and then you opened in the new year,
Opened in January.
And then
just
COVID.
in time for COVID.
and COVID happened.
But
What can you tell everyone at home what that experience is like to open? It's like
Yes,
your lifelong dream, right?
absolutely.
And I've also eaten like on the boards dinner. I've had your food in so many different pop-up settings, but never in the
but
restaurant. I feel
not
so
at the
foolish.
restaurant.
But
Well, and you even came
for a friends and family thing.
friends and family,
Yeah.
and then when we did the screening of the No Passport Required
Yep.
show.
Well, that
you and Nelson
so,
came too,
yeah.
and that was like a week.
Snacking and
before-
drinking, yeah, right
a week
before it
before
opened.
we were opening. What does it look like opening a restaurant in COVID? Honestly, I think a lot of people have been asking that question, like, "Oh, we feel so bad for you," or like, "What a bummer." And honestly, the thing that we've learned the most, the first 2.5 months we were open, it was like popping.
Yeah.
It was 3-hour wait times. People were so
Like
excited.
a couple hundred people a night, right? Like,
And it was like, Filipino food is on Beacon Hill. Let's go support.
yeah,
And like everyone, like you guys have been super inspirational in how to pivot, right? We made sure to keep open, and it looked different in each time.
Right.
Like we turned our restaurant into a community kitchen.
yeah,
And each kind of pivot, right? Like now we're open inside with limited capacity, takeout. We're doing dine-in. We're doing little kids classes. I think it's
Yes.
been an opportunity, especially as like a chef owner and just person, to be like, let's take a step back and really look at what we need to do in this restaurant industry that, you've been in this industry. Like, there's a lot of things that aren't really great about
right.
it.
There's a
you
lot that
know?
we wish we could change, and
Exactly.
I think COVID's been a time for us to re-examine kind of everything, our values, and just the way that we do things, and build from scratch. And
100%.
I think that's an opportunity that you've been able to do because of COVID in some ways.
Yeah.
Is that what I hear you saying?
Yeah.
So
So, I mean, it's kind of like looking at the blessings or the
Yeah.
silver linings.
Yeah.
I'm able to look at my staff now and really take time to like mentor and coach them on like, what do we need to do to be sustainable? How can we be better leaders and better mentors? And be able to share our food. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
first and foremost, like, we are about the education of Filipinx cuisine. And so that's what we're doing and trying to find ways to do so.
Right.
So it's kind of cool and awesome that I'm here with you.
We're so excited.
So thank
We're
you.
so excited. For those of you that I think joined maybe a little bit late, I'll just reintroduce myself. I'm Brady Williams, the chef here at Canlis, and I'm with Miranda from Musang in Beacon Hill. And we're going to cook two dishes today,
Yes.
and let's talk about them. So we're going to cook lumpia and pancit.
Yes, correct.
And can you talk through those dishes you can talk through both those dishes, and then we'll kind of walk through the ingredients together.
Yep.
And then we'll start with, which one do you want to start with?
I think we should start with the lumpia.
Cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does it sound good?
Yeah. So let's talk to us. Tell us what is
Yeah.
lumpia?
So lumpia, there are many different types of lumpia. Today we're making lumpia in Shanghai, which has Chinese kind of influences. In the Philippines, there's a lot of influence of other cultures in our cuisine. This specific recipe that we're cooking tonight is my grandmother's recipe.
Oh, awesome.
So it's super special. I'm really excited to share, and I'm kind of sharing some of the secrets for lumpia.
Yeah.
So.
There's a bunch. I was like, what's this? And she's like, that's the secret. And I was like, oh, it's just,
yeah. I remember, like, this is the dish that whenever any of us go to our grandma's house, like, she either makes it special for us or it's the special request. Always. And so she always has a bag of frozen lumpia.
And is grandma always the one that does it, like none of the aunties, or does everyone bring their lumpia, or is it like you just...
I think everyone has tried to like recreate it or like have their own versions of it, but no one has ever like nailed it. And I think we're close.
You're getting close.
I don't want to say that we're there, but I think we're pretty close. And she's actually shared, you know, like every time I go to her house, I'm like, what's that? Or like, what's that secret
Does she give
thing?
you like crits and be like, or does she is like, this is garbage, or is this like, or this is good, or you're getting closer, but like never like, she like helpful but not like...
I think my dad is more so the one that's like the real critic in my life. But she's been pretty amazing. I think the first time her and my grandpa came to the restaurant was for the opening, and I think they just, in their head, they had never envisioned seeing a Filipino restaurant looking like that. You know, walking into a space and maybe being transformed to like one of the ancestral homes in the Philippines, or you know, entering a space where they're like, this is where we grew up. And so they kind of sat in the corner and just like observed everything, and they kind of took it in, and it was a moment for me. Like I remember, I'm gonna cry now, but I looked over to my grandpa and I was like, you know, and he just was like, I'm so impressed. Like, this is not what I thought it was going to be when you were gonna open a restaurant. So they've been pretty like, you know, every time they come and eat at the restaurant, they're just excited.
So excited.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun.
So lumpia.
Lumpia, yeah. Grandma's lumpia.
Recipe.
Let's walk through the ingredients. So, lumpia is like just like a fried spring roll, correct? If you are unfamiliar. So, walk us through what we're making.
So there's a couple of tricks of the trade that we've learned. We can start with the pastry roll, which is this one.
Cool.
Oh yeah, over here.
The food camera. We learned which cameras are which 5 minutes ago. So,
TYJ spring roll pastry. You can find it any Asian store. There's a store called Phu Ly Market in Beacon Hill. And it's Vietnamese owned, but they specialize in Filipino products, and they are like family owned, and like we love them. The reason why I actually use these spring roll pastries versus the lumpia wrappers is these ones are really forgiving. Like you
like
have
don't dry out. Right.
You have to individually peel them. Okay. Like they don't rip very easily. You can leave them out a little bit longer.
You don't have to cover them, is what you're saying.
You can, like it's suggested that you cover it with like a damp towel, but it definitely can sit out longer. And the other lumpia wrappers have like a lot of plastic and waste, and so these are the ones we use at the restaurant.
Awesome.
Some of the secrets, well, we can go through. Oh yeah.
Yeah. What was the name of the market again? People.
Oh yeah, Phu Ly.
Can you spell it?
F-O-U space L-E-E.
F-O-U space L-E-E.
It's on Beacon and 50?
It's on Beacon and Columbian.
It's like right, Columbian Way.
Columbian Way.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, across the street from
on
Seattle
the
Fish Market.
northwest corner.
Yes.
Nice.
It is a hidden gem. Oh yeah, because you live down there. Go. Yeah. Like, not only do they have all the like incredible Filipino things, like these bottles, you can also source at Phu Ly, but they actually have it's called turo turo, and that means like point in Tagalog. And they have just like cases of food. So there's adobo, kare-kare. Like if you kind of want an introduction into other Filipino food, they have everything there.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so pastries. We have pork, ground pork.
Some ground pork. Just what store-bought ground pork, right?
Store-bought ground pork.
From shoulder, most likely.
Yeah,
Cool.
a little bit of fat is nice
Yep.
for flavor. Grandma's secret number 1 is actually shrimp. In the lumpia. Most lumpia just has ground pork, so.
And we're gonna cut dice the shrimp up, so I think any size works. Is that correct?
Fine.
Or any
Mixed.
size of shrimp work,
any,
though?
Yeah, any size of shrimp works.
And these are peeled and deveined, tail off, for
Correct.
those of you following along.
Yes. Adds a nice sweetness to the dish.
Yeah.
Next we have carrots. And then we have Grandma's secret number 2,
Water chestnuts.
water chestnuts.
What does that add to the filling?
It adds a nice crunch to it. I think that I like to kind of keep my filling a lot more larger diced than normal. You can use a RoboCube, you can use a KitchenAid to save time. But it adds, when you bite into it, you can really taste all the things. I like when a filling has
Some bite to it and texture, yeah.
and flavor
And
to
not
it.
so homogeneous and just kind of.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right, and then we have onion. And the
Just
other
the yellow
secret.
onion. Yeah, yellow onion.
Yes,
Right?
yellow
Okay,
onion.
yeah.
And then Grandma's third secret is oyster sauce.
Which I've never seen these any of these brands. So and these are Filipino products, right? With the exception
Filipino
of this,
products.
but is
Yeah.
oyster sauce? Can you tell us a little
Oyster
bit about
sauce.
oyster sauce? Because I think people are probably familiar with fish sauce, but
Yeah.
oyster sauce.
This was a surprise for me. I remember watching her make the filling, and then all of a sudden she grabbed this bottle and just was shaking it in there, and I was like, "What are you doing?" It just adds another flavor of umami
Yeah.
to it, kind of a round, robust flavor. Excuse me, versus soy sauce, which kind of can be a flat note.
So a little bit more depth, a little bit richer.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. And so
Yeah, we'll watch it. Is it what's the? I guess we'll see the consistency.
yeah,
of
we'll
that,
see
but
the
it's a little
consistency.
thicker.
It's a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
It also helps kind of with the texture of where you want to get the filling too.
Cool.
All right, and then I think the last ingredient is this right here.
What is that? I opened that up and I was like, "What is this?" And I was tasting it, and then you're like Johnny's, and I was like, "What's Johnny's?"
If you go to
You're like, "It's Johnny's." I was like, "Wow."
if you go to the restaurant, my staff's gonna be so excited
Yeah.
that we're actually talking about
And
Johnny's.
Yeah, tell us what Johnny's.
Johnny's is probably the equivalent could be Lowry's seasoning salts, but it's actually made in Tacoma.
Oh, cool.
And so my Lola, which is also my grandmother's sister, when they first immigrated here, they lived off the base in near Fort Lewis. Yeah, Lewis base. And they grew up in Tacoma, and she would always use Johnny's seasoning. So I think that's how it got introduced to our family. But there's garlic salt, paprika, a little MSG.
Smells great.
But
And can you find Johnny's just at
anywhere.
anywhere, any normal store?
If
Or
you
a
live
nice
Like
store-
Fuli, or would
if-
Fuli have it, or would you have?
Fuli has it,
Okay.
but it actually is also at Albertson, Safeway,
Oh, really?
in
Wow.
Washington State.
Okay.
But if you
Cool.
if you're not from Washington, it might be a little difficult to find. Lori's also works well. It's not the same, but
Get Johnny's.
Johnny's has the
Get
MSG. So.
Yeah. And for people are like, "Ugh, MSG's bad." It's not bad.
Yeah.
Trust us. It's totally fine. MSG's in everything you eat.
And
A little
it
bit's
just
not gonna
makes
hurt you. It
things
makes things taste
really
better.
Good.
Yeah. It's the secret ingredient.
yeah.
So now we're probably gonna get some haters from Brian
Even
Clark.
at Costco, we've just learned.
Yeah. See, people teach us
If you
things.
really want a big bucket,
They're Googling
Yeah,
at home.
yeah.
Someone asked me is your soy or sesame last week? I was like, is your sesame oil toasted? I was like, nah. And then someone's like, yes, it is. It's toasted. I don't know.
but if you try it even on just steak or
Yeah.
chicken, this is
Yeah,
gonna change
this
your
is
world. So that is the secret of Musang, not just my family.
it's good. It makes you there's a lot of umami. It makes you. You want more of it.
You want
and you're like, oh,
more.
let's just keep adding it. I'm salivating and ready to eat.
To
some
eat all the
lumpia.
things.
So
Last ingredient, I think, is the egg.
egg, and that's a binding agent.
Binding agent. And then we also have an egg for later, or you can use water to seal the lumpia.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Are we making a sauce too?
We can make a sauce, yes. I brought everything to make a sauce.
Cool. We should make a sauce because we're on a snack. Nelson. Nelson's off camera right now,
yeah.
and he's like, ready for Olympia, and he's like, give me
He's
the
like,
sauce.
I'm here.
What you want to walk us through the sauce, and then maybe we can.
Yes.
I can maybe make the sauce, or you can make the sauces where.
Yeah, so we can also show the other bottles that we have.
Yeah, I'll get a bowl here.
I really like to use Silver Swan soy sauce. It's a Philippine product. You can also find this at Fuli. We use Datu Puti, which is a cane vinegar, also a product of the Philippines.
So Silver Swan, backing up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Compared to like Kikkoman, which I think is what everyone's most familiar with.
This is definitely more like savory.
It's more savory. Is it like
just richer?
Gotcha. Yeah.
You don't
Even
have to
feels
use
like
a
a little
lot.
bit. Okay.
Yeah,
So a little goes a long way.
A little bit goes a long way.
And then tell us about this vinegar. Sorry,
Cane vinegar. So like distilled white vinegar.
Yeah.
Has just like a real strong acidic flavor, and just like in your face. Cane vinegar is definitely a lot more delicate, a little bit more sweet. We use this for like our adobo. That's an amazing.
It's like a cornerstone of Filipinx cuisine.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you guys don't know, or have never heard of Knorr liquid seasoning,
Which is like Maggi.
Maggi.
Maybe you've heard of Maggi.
Yeah. This also is an umami bomb. Just really savory. Adds. It's got a very distinct flavor. If you ever had Maggi, I don't know, you just want to put it on everything.
It's like It's like if you're like totally unfamiliar, it's like like soy sauce but wheat based, so there's no soy in it. So it has like a little bit more depth. It's like liquid Johnny's.
Yes,
in a way.
If I don't have oyster sauce, can I sub fish sauce?
No.
Okay.
Can you leave it out? Or
You can leave it out.
Yeah.
You'll have to add a little bit more seasoning salt to it. But it definitely does change the flavor.
Got it.
And
we'll
Grandma's
still
not going to
yeah,
approve if you don't have oyster sauce.
She's going to know
Sorry.
that there's nothing that's missing.
Yeah. Is she watching?
No.
Oh, okay.
But she's here. We'll probably
Well,
show it to her later. Yeah.
My grandma's watching.
Aww.
Yeah, so.
I think my grandma wouldn't know. She's not quite there.
My mom, no, there's assistance, so, yeah, but I'm,
That's sweet.
yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Oh yeah, so the dipping sauce is these 3 ingredients, and then plus chopped garlic.
Awesome. Which we can grab some.
We have some right here.
Oh, you have some?
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, so we can get started.
Cool. Yeah, walk us through it.
Yeah, so
we're going to do this one together.
Base is onion, carrot, water chestnut. We're going to do a small dice on this. Okay. Like I said earlier, I do like to keep things a little bit more like chunky, I guess, or just like so that there's bite to it. Because you have the binding agent of the egg and the oyster sauce, it'll stick together. Right. It's not going to fall apart. And then for us, for this amount, I think maybe...
I'm just going to watch you.
Yeah. So... Alright, so I've cut just kind of lines and I've left about a finger's length at the end. I don't know if people have cut onions before.
Right. No. They want to know how we do it. I just plowed through it. But I think
so
actually
yeah,
doing
kind of
well,
like
more
this
helpful.
size.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm about there. Maybe a little bit coarser, but. And then are we going all in? So
I probably would just, since we don't have as much pork, I would just probably do half.
How much pork do we start with? We started with.
It should be a pound.
So we split that, so we're like at a half pound. So for a full pound of pork, you would use like half an onion?
For a full pound, I think we said we'd use a full onion, but a smaller onion than this.
Gotcha.
So I'm just going to use half of what we've cut in here.
Great. I'll grab a bowl we could reserve some of that.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. And then the carrot, just peeled.
We only have one peeler.
Oh.
I had to borrow it.
And then for this amount, I probably will just do half of this.
Okay. And what's the cut on that?
Small
About
dice as well.
Okay.
And then if you kind of want to skip the step of having to do all of this, you can also just cut everything in bigger pieces and run it through a KitchenAid.
Like a food processor?
Food processor.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you go to culinary school? Are you self-taught?
I did go to culinary school. I actually went to school in Florence. So I graduated from the University of Washington. Like it.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Growing up as a young Filipina, education is like such an important part.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like in the Asian culture. And so it was like, go to college, get your degree. But like my saving grace was that I worked in restaurants during school. And that kind of introduced me to this world and the friendships I think that you make.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't know you. I wouldn't know Nelson.
The camaraderie. Yeah.
Exactly. And so
we have so many mutual friends all over the country too that like
Exactly.
when we're traveling, we're like always sending each other selfies of people that we're hanging out with.
Yeah. And it's just like such a beautiful kind of world.
Right.
But I had studied abroad in Italy, in Florence, in Siena, and then was like, I'm moving back to Italy, and then I ended up going to culinary school in Florence for like 2 years. Fell in love, and
Can you speak Italian?
I can.
Ooh.
I know. I won't do
Mamma
it now
mia.
because
Mamma mia.
I'll be
That's
really nervous.
I won't put you on the spot. I promise you I wouldn't put you on the spot with anything.
Thank you. All right, so some water chestnuts. I'll give you some.
Cool. Thank you.
So if you're looking at the bowl, all
Yeah,
of the
so-
ingredients that we're cutting are pretty much like equal parts.
Can you angle that just a little bit more, like that way? Can you
Yeah.
see that? Okay, cool. Sorry.
Cool. Yeah, so it's
I'm blind here. So like I don't know what the cameras can see or can't see. So we're just,
yeah, kind of equal parts of everything.
Cool.
Kind of eyeballing it right now. So we'll do the same amount with the water chestnut. So I'll probably do maybe like 7 pieces.
7. I have a little bit less than you, so I'm gonna go
Okay.
like 4.
And then the same cut. Yeah. Brady, where did you grow up?
I grew up all over. So I was born in Southern California, and then from the age of 6 until I moved here, I never lived somewhere longer than 3 years. So
Oh, wow.
I was all over the country. And so I've been here for 5.5 years now. So it's almost the longest I've lived anywhere in my entire life. I lived here for a couple years as a kid, on the east side, in Bothell, but yeah, all over the country. Where did you go after Italy? So because you cooked elsewhere too, right?
Yeah, so I was in Florence for almost 5 years, and just like kind of cooked in all types of places there. And then from there, I moved to New York. So I was
cool.
in New York for a couple of
Yeah.
years.
How long were you there for?
For 2.
Yeah.
But I think we talked about this so you were at
Roberta's?
Roberta.
Yeah.
And I actually lived like 2 blocks away.
Right. Were we there? What years were you there?
I don't even remember. 2014?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were there at the same time.
Yeah, I lived on Moore Street. Which
Oh, we were on Moore
We
Street.
were on Moore, but I was like a couple blocks
We
down.
probably went to the same bars.
Which is so funny
Did you
how...
ever go to the Narrows?
Yes.
Yeah, the Narrows. Shout out to the Narrows. Dangerous place. Open till 4 a.m. You might not make it home.
I do miss
the
that.
Narrows and like 3 Diamond Door. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, this was in New York.
Yeah, we
and
talked about
then,
this.
Yeah, we did talk about this. Then I've been back home for about 5 years.
And then when you moved back here, did you move back here with the intention of like, I'm gonna open a restaurant?
No. I mean, that's the funny thing is like I came back and my intention was actually to open up an Italian restaurant. Which
Really?
is so funny. Because there's not really... I wanted to open up like a trattoria, like
Right.
super simple,
Right.
Kind of what Mike Easton's doing.
Now, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
like very simple and...
handmade pastas, like some rustic
Yeah.
dishes,
Oh, shoot.
and like
That was my water, sorry. But then, you come to a city, and I'd been gone for like 7 years, and I was like, I don't know the landscape of this place. Like, I can't come back being like, I've worked here, I've worked there. I was like, I just want to put my head down.
right.
I don't want to be in a management position, and I just want to like figure out what
Just
the city
cook.
needs and
Yep.
like what's happening.
Yeah.
And so I ended up with Tom at Cuoco.
Okay.
And then from there, I was like driving down Beacon Ave, and all the restaurants that existed that were Filipino had closed.
And is Beacon Hill? So Beacon Hill is traditionally
Like historically Filipino. My dad moved there when he first emigrated in the 80s from by way of Alaska, lived in Beacon Hill, and we grew up grocery shopping. Like Fuli, I actually used to go to when I was a little kid.
Oh, wow.
And so what
were some of those restaurants that you grew up going to? Or what are some of those kind of like traditional Filipino
places? Inay's Kitchen, Tito Ernie. So Tito in Tagalog means uncle. He was like the first, like the godfather of like trying to plate Filipino food in a way that wasn't just like scoop and serve.
Mm-hmm.
And his Inay, excuse me, means mother. And his mom was in the kitchen, and like that was the one Filipino place that we would go to all the time. Cuisine Filipina used to be there, and they closed, but they moved down south. And I don't know, I just remember driving back. The city had changed, like Amazon had come in, and I was like, I need to do something about this. So then that's how the pop-up started.
Right.
And I don't know, it's been cool, but I never thought that we'd be here. Like,
right.
And then when the pop-up started, I was like, yeah, maybe we'll own a restaurant, maybe we'll open.
Well, it's just, I mean, it's very Seattle, like the DIY kind of ethos, just like build it yourself and put in your time and like build a following through just like soulful cooking and being a nice person and like hard work. And I think that's super cool. Like I remember, like the first pop-ups and Nelson first telling me about this and just kind of seeing the progression and then all the way to recently opening up. And the Kickstarters along the way and all the hard work and
it's like I said, it's like a blessing and it's kind of cool to reflect back.
Right.
Yeah.
And another place that we've eaten at together, Oriental Mart in the market.
God, yes.
Auntie's there.
Yes.
It's a great place.
If you
great at adobo. So.
She's currently serving takeout
Yep.
from Wednesday through Sunday. That is like home style Filipino soul food.
With a bunch of attitude and so good.
Go there.
Cool.
Okay. Anyways.
Do it. All right, let's get moving.
So
you did this all with your knife. You said you can do it in a food processor to speed it up if you want.
Yes.
Should pulse it probably.
That's just the veggies, right? Not the meat.
Just the veggies.
Yeah.
And then the trick too to making it like homogeneous, like making it all equal size, is like cutting the onions in bigger pieces, cutting the carrots in a little bit smaller pieces, and the water chestnuts you can leave whole. So when you pulse it together, all the sizes of the
before
veggies.
it goes in the processor.
Yeah, before it goes in the processor.
That's the move.
Because if you cut the onions too small, it'll puree it.
Right.
But that way, everything kind of maintains its structure. That's how we do it at the restaurant.
Cool.
All right. What's next?
All right,
What's
let's
next?
keep going.
Okay.
And one quick side note, because we are going to be frying these. We have a fryer set up to 375 degrees, deep fryer. So if you want to fry them tonight at home, you should have a shallow pot.
Yeah,
filled
shallow
with oil.
pot filled with oil.
What kind of oil?
Canola.
Canola, a vegetable, anything neutral, not olive oil, not sesame oil.
Yes.
Probably not like avocado oil or coconut oil, but like
save that. That's expensive.
One of the neutral ones, cheap and neutral.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Can you shallow fry it, like pan fry it, or
you can, but it's better if it's like immersed in oil.
Okay.
Like an inch? Of
No,
oil?
it should be like a couple inches.
Yeah,
right?
2 to 3 inches. Yeah.
Okay.
A good way to test is a little tiny splash of water, and you hear it sizzle. Or you can always take one of your lumpias that are rolled and just kind of dip the end in, and if it starts to sizzle, that's a good sign that it's... Okay.
So get it hot. We're at 375 here.
Cool.
Turn it on now. Medium-high heat.
Ooh, the shrimp.
Yes, shrimp.
Shrimp.
How many shrimp?
Let's do them all.
Cool.
All right.
Are there any rules to like what you can put or can't put in the filling? Like pork and shrimp are a staple?
Pork and shrimp are the staple. For a while when I was younger, my mom was on this kick of like ground chicken.
Oh yeah, because she was like trying to be healthy, or
she was trying to be healthy.
Turkey.
And so she would make lumpia with ground chicken, and I knew the difference, and I hated it. So I would always just like go to grandma's and sneak her lumpia. But no, I mean, you can make. Oh yeah, you can make vegetable lumpia with like bean sprouts and potatoes and sweet potatoes.
Is it nice to have
tofu.
something like starchy that kind of like hold the form?
Yeah. There's a lot of different types. There's also lumpia called lumpiang sariwa, which is just like essentially a crepe. And then you fill it up with like we usually do pickled veggies.
Okay.
But it can be kind of sautéed potatoes or anything you want, and then you top it. You fold it just kind of like a burrito, and then you top it with a kind of like a coconut caramel sauce,
Awesome.
which is really delicious.
Do you serve both at the restaurant?
Yeah. That one we'll probably be serving in the spring, but yeah. All right, that's all in. Egg, 1 egg.
Egg.
All right.
No shells.
No shells. Let's season it first. Johnny's seasoning.
So that's like a 4-finger pinch of salt of Johnny's.
Probably two
Two of
for
them.
me.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's officially
I just did 2.
4-finger pinches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did 2, and then maybe another half.
Okay.
2.5 4-finger pinches.
I'm an aggressive seasoner.
Or 3-finger pinches.
Sorry, Seattle.
We will actually be able to. It's always smart to test fry your filling. This is a secret. So before you fill up and roll all your lumpias, and then you fry it, and you're like, oh, that tastes like crap.
It's just like if you're making sausage, or like today I was making 600 pounds of meatloaf for these TV dinners that we're doing. So yeah, you always have a pan. If you're making anything that's like mixed and you're kind of just seasoning blind, it's always just a good idea to a burger even.
Yeah,
right? Like a little piece
it
of
makes your
burger.
life so much easier. Right. All right, this is the oyster sauce. You're gonna about like the consistency.
Yeah, it's like ketchup almost, maybe even thicker. Yeah. That was
I'm gonna do
one
3
glug.
Three
glugs.
3 glugs.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
That's the measurement.
3 tablespoons.
1, 2,
All right.
3. Big.
You can use your hands. I'm gonna use a glove, and then we're gonna mix everything.
So, for those at home, if you can show them, you're kind of like massage, like you're working it.
You really want to make sure like the shrimp gets everywhere.
Everything's evenly incorporated. So yeah, I think your lumpia was the first, or your grandmother's lumpia was the first I've ever had. I've had it at many times by you, and then I think the only time is at Nelson's house where his aunties made it as well, so, in Hawaii. So
there's a lot
really
of different versions.
Yeah.
Like
is it
people
regional to different parts of the Philippines, or is it just kind of like preference?
I think it's preference. Like a lot of people, it's like passed down. Like some people put garlic. You had asked earlier if the pork is cooked. Like some people actually pre-cook the pork before they roll it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's this kind of family recipes.
Nelson, what does your family do?
Depends. If they put a lot of vegetables in it, then it'll be cooked.
Yeah.
But if it's more Shanghai style, then it'll just be fresh and then rolled and cooked when it's done. And you want it still to be just a little pink in the center. So we like it's usually like thin and like cigar-like, and cooks quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are tasty.
All right.
Okay. Put a little.
Let's do a little tester.
Crank it up a little bit. Sorry.
That's okay. While we're doing this, I'm gonna start actually.
Cool. Yeah.
Doing
Keep
this.
us moving, and I'll just keep an eye on this.
Keep us moving.
Yep.
So we've got the wrappers. You can kind of see how it's all kind of stuck together.
Right.
And it's pretty forgiving when you pull it apart. So you just pull out one at a time.
And are we using the whole wrapper?
Yeah, we'll be using the whole wrapper. So they're like thin, kind of like phyllo sheets.
Yeah, or like brick dough almost?
Yeah. You can just stack them one on top of the other. Because we're going to be working pretty quickly, you don't have to put like a damp towel or anything on top.
But if you're going to be doing this for family
hours.
reunion,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, we
Lots
suggest
of
that
them?
you just get like a towel or a paper towel, damp it,
Okay.
and then just put it on top.
that's true of like if you're making pasta at home or bread. If you're proofing bread, you want to just keep it covered so it doesn't dry out as well.
Okay. Thank you.
So, are you cooking that to like medium rare, Brady?
No, it's cooked.
It's fully cooked,
It's cooked.
and so you're adding the cooked mixture inside.
No. So right now we're just testing this. Sorry, I spoke over you.
Oh no, it's okay. We're just cooking a little bit to taste it. Because you don't want to go through all the hard work of rolling the lumpia to find out your...
It's under seasoned or over seasoned.
Yeah, exactly. So
Mine's under seasoned. So I'm gonna do another little pinch
Yeah.
of
so it's
mayonnaise.
a nice little snack to have.
Or under seasoned for me. But
Uh-huh.
So you're just testing it.
Just testing
And
it.
is yours perfect? And Brady's wasn't. I just want to just draw some
It's pretty good.
attention to that
It's fine. But,
So yeah,
all right.
this is the time now to adjust your seasonings. If you need more oyster sauce, if you need more Johnny's, and then we can start rolling. So you take your wrapper. I like to put it at kind of a diagonal this way.
Okay, so kind of like point facing you and out.
Yes. And then I have water with the brush to seal it later.
Okay. If you don't have a brush, can you use your finger
You can use your finger.
or a toothbrush even?
Oh.
Chef.
Okay.
Chef.
You can use a spoon.
Okay. So no water yet.
No water yet. That's actually at
Okay.
the end.
Spoon, and then that's like
Yeah.
I already
a
have a spoon in there,
tablespoon.
so yeah,
Yeah,
good
about a
to
tablespoon.
like that.
Yep. And
You got
then
that?
you
got that camera? No, okay.
got it.
All right,
I can move this
there you go.
or not.
Want to create space, or you?
Okay, so then you place it about an inch from the bottom.
Okay.
Plop it down.
Now you have a little bit
A
more,
little more than an inch.
Okay.
An inch and a half.
or you have a little bit more than I do, so I'm
Oh,
gonna put
okay.
just a little bit.
And this is where you can use your hands, and you want to form like a little skinny log all the way to the sides like this.
Yours is so much nicer than mine.
So one of my
It's like you've been doing it your whole life.
I used to do this when I was a kid during the holidays. They put us little kids to work.
To work, yeah.
Because of our hands.
Brady, don't worry. The camera's only on her cutting board,
That's great.
so they can't
gonna
can't
put this
see the
here and you can't see
disaster
anything.
that's on your cutting board.
That's great.
But
All right,
Yeah.
so you've got your log. You take this that's facing you,
Okay.
and you fold it over.
And you're folding it like 2/3 of the way up.
I like to actually have the meat flipped, so you can see from here when we started.
Yep.
I flip it over,
Yep.
and
Can you see that
that
from the top down? Yeah.
yeah, it's great.
Great.
Cool.
Awesome.
and then actually gives you good leverage to like pull back.
You're doing like a little tuck.
And like you can see me kind of pulling the wrapper,
Yeah.
so it's nice and tight.
And is the filling extrudes out kind of like the corner?
Yeah,
a touch?
kind of like that.
Okay, so I need to.
Now, if people have a round wrapper, is there any hope?
Yeah, maybe.
Like the small ones? If you have a small round wrapper, it's gonna be a really small. It's gonna be like a
Yeah, I think he might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're at the dumpling class. You're at the wrong
got
class.
rice paper wrappers?
Ugh,
No,
no.
it's okay.
No.
But all these classes are online, or
Yeah.
the videos are online,
Now,
and you can
if
reference them
people
later.
have the wrong wrappers, could they put it in the fridge or freeze their filling?
Yes. You can definitely freeze your filling. Unfreeze it. Put it in a Ziploc bag. It's great. Okay, so we've gotten this point,
Yep.
and we just
It's like
roll 2 times
One
until you actually are at
the point.
the points.
Okay.
Then you take the points and you fold them in
And you're folding them.
like an envelope.
Yep. And you're not doubling over the meat though, or?
I did a little bit
Okay.
here, but you want to make sure that it's nice and secure.
So just nice and tight is the most important thing.
And then I fold once.
Okay.
And then now I seal the top.
And you're brushing the top of the kind of the remaining
corners.
triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I continue to roll. And then we have a nice and tight and uniform lumpia.
How's that? Not bad.
That's not bad.
A little. It could be a little tighter.
The goal is to like, you can see that it's all the same kind of color. Like there's no extra meat.
Got you. Mine
so
definitely.
that when you fry, it won't like break or it won't like.
Yeah, mine definitely is not uniform. So I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To encourage those at home.
Yeah,
Yes.
mine kind of
Mel's
sucks.
and Brady's looks very different.
That's fine. It's better than my dumplings, you know? My dumplings really suck.
Way better than your dumpling.
Yeah. Cool. Let's do
Yeah.
a couple more real quick,
Cool,
and like
yeah.
why don't you just like
Yeah.
let's go a little faster, and we'll just have so we can have some more to snack.
Yes.
Because these will be gone in a second, and then we can fry some and just like work through
Yes.
some sauce,
Yes.
and then move on to pancit.
Pancit. At the restaurant we have. Have you ever met Jeffrey? Did you
Yes.
get to meet Jeffrey?
Yes.
Yes. So Jeffrey is our resident lumpia roller, and his lumpias are perfect. I've never seen.
I've seen them on Instagram, and
Yes,
they're
I've
like
never seen anyone roll.
perfect little like cigars.
They're incredible.
You know, I'm actually.
And he just does like the whole table.
How many lumpia do you do a day?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. He's rolling every day. Like that's
Yeah.
He makes desserts.
Keeps it fresh and
then he rolls lumpia every day. So we always have filling.
Right. Wait. I
Oh
already
yeah.
forgot.
Sorry.
So no.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go
One.
back.
No, I forgot. I'm not paying attention. Okay. So meat. One fold up, and then
One
meat.
fold
Turn the
up.
meat kind of over.
Nope.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Performative mass point.
Okay, so yeah, you want to like really tuck it in.
Oh, the tuck. I didn't do the
and
tuck.
you can have it go, and you could do a little less filling. Just throw that back there, and you can make it even by kind of
So even.
yeah.
Even and a nice tuck. Okay.
And then you can roll twice till you hit that corner,
1, 2, and then
you
the fold in like an envelope. Yep. Got it.
And then you do one roll, and then you seal, or you take the brush, and then you continue to roll.
And then we fry and eat.
Yeah. Ooh, that one looks good.
You hear that at home?
Oh yeah.
Cool. Let's do
Okay,
like
I'll
one
do
more.
one
Let's do one more.
and then we can fry.
And we'll have to make some snacks later. Is that right, Nelson?
No, I have a question.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
ever tried to make GF lumpia?
Oh, yes.
So the question,
asking for
if you
a
can hear at
friend.
home, is, and Nelson is asking for a friend, if you can make gluten-free lumpia at home,
Interesting.
for those that can enjoy it.
I would be curious of revisiting that rice
The rice paper.
paper.
Maybe the people that have the wrong wrapper at home can make it and be like, how did it turn out? And
Be like,
just
"We
imagine like
found
you're
out."
gluten-free.
You know what? Big Cat came over last week and we watched the Cocktails 101 class and she made rice paper wrapper.
Yeah.
And it makes the wrapper a little like really crispy,
Crispy.
right?
Mhm.
And fluffy and like tons of bubbles in it. And it was
Almost like a
I didn't try
wonton.
any.
So it fries like a wonton, like a wonton, like rangoon or no?
No.
You know, have you had imperial rolls?
Imperial rolls, yeah.
Like
exactly. That's what
Vietnamese
it is,
spring
yeah.
rolls? It's exactly that same
There's
kind of texture.
For those who don't know who that
Yeah.
sexy voice is behind me, that's Nelson DeKip, the wine director of Canlis, who is Filipino and dearly loves this food with all his heart. Mel,
And
there's a
has
goal-
and it has a gluten-free partner.
Now, when you're not wetting the wrappers at all until the
Oh.
very end.
Yes, that's
Is
correct.
that right?
I got nervous and just did that, so I'm trying to work fast real quick.
Yeah,
Got
because
it.
if you these are forgiving wrappers, which is nice. But if you do over wet or wet too soon, it can make the pastry really brittle, and then it'll break.
Is there like a key to, so if you're making a bunch of them, do you need to put anything on like your board or on a cutting board so it doesn't stick?
And like you can see these, this is also why I love this pastry, is like they don't stick, which is nice.
Yep.
A good way to, like, for us, if you want to keep them, you can do a whole bunch of them, just put them on a sheet tray, stick them in the freezer. Once they're frozen, you can just pack them in a Ziploc bag, pull them out, and you can actually fry them frozen.
Awesome.
Which is great.
At a lower temperature if you're doing them frozen? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're at 375 right here if you're frying from frozen. Just do a lower temperature. Give yourself like a little bit more space because of like the water that's gonna like accumulate through the freezing process, so you don't like burn your house down.
Exactly.
And splatter. But we'll get to frying.
Yes.
Let's maybe fry a couple. Let's make a sauce real quick.
Yeah. All right.
You wanna just do it?
Sauce, soy sauce, cane vinegar, and Knorr liquid seasoning. We talked about this earlier being a lot more kind of potent than Kikkoman, so you actually don't need that much. I don't know.
If you don't use all your wrappers, can you freeze them?
That's a good question.
Thawing and
Yeah, I don't
think so. I think
that
they look like gummy.
Yeah, I think the best way for these ones is to just put them back sealed in a
fridge.
Ziploc bag in the fridge and just try and make them earlier. Sauce, eyeball about a tablespoon.
Cool. So a tablespoon of the
Silver Swan.
Silver Swan soy sauce. I'm gonna try just a little bit of that too. So tablespoon. Okay.
And then the cane vinegar, I'm actually gonna do double that amount, so 2 tablespoons.
It's got like a really like roasted, kind of like roasted nori, almost like caramelized flavor. 2 tablespoons of this. So like 1 part soy sauce to 2 parts vinegar.
Correct.
For those that are following.
And then
And this is all just to taste too,
taste,
right?
yeah.
This is what you like to do, huh?
Knorr, I do like a couple of dashes. Let's say like six dashes.
Oh yeah. Oh, chef.
And
Thank
then just a clove of raw garlic.
We're just mincing.
Yep.
Does that cane vinegar have a flavor, or is it just
As someone
cane?
that like hasn't had it before.
Yes, here. That's great.
It's got like a cider, like almost like a cidery vinegar, like kind of like the amino vinegar type of thing to it. It's like
It's not like
it's not white distilled. It's like rounder, a little bit sweeter.
sweeter because it's cane. Like
Yep.
from sugar, it's got a sweeter flavor to it, which
Yeah.
is really nice. You can substitute.
It's rounder than champagne. I would say like a nice apple cider vinegar, like a
Yeah,
would be
and if
probably-
you don't have cane vinegar, I think you could definitely substitute with apple cider vinegar. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more Knorr, and this is kind of to preference. And then I'm gonna
the
do
whole garlic.
Yeah, the whole garlic, and then I'm gonna add a pinch of Johnny's.
Always.
Always.
Can't forget.
When in doubt, add
When in
Johnny's.
doubt. When in doubt, add
Just a pinch
Johnny's.
of Johnny's.
And that is our sauce. That's it.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
it's great. All right, let's get to frying.
Yes.
And we'll move on to
And then we can go to pancit. Pancit's pretty quick, so.
yeah. Cool. I think that's good.
Yes, I know.
So frying, we have a deep fryer here, and we're just going to kind of put them. Oh, I'm not doing anything, but it's like just kind of shingle them side by side. You don't want to overcrowd your fryer.
Yeah. I think I can put 3. There you go.
Is there any threat of them sticking in the pot, or not really?
No.
Okay.
No. All right.
And now we wait.
Now we wait.
And we wait.
Maybe while we're waiting, we can talk about the ingredients for pancit.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's walk
Yeah?
through that.
Okay. So this version of pancit that we're doing is called pancit canton. There's like a lot of different types of pancit. So there's pancit bihon, which is similar to a vermicelli noodle. Pancit canton is really similar to like a yakisoba noodle, kind of this size. There's miki, which is a thicker noodle. Pancit molo is like a dumpling. We actually serve this dish during the summertime.
Okay.
And it's got a
So
lot
there's
of...
like a seasonality to it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pancit at Musang. It's important kind of to work with this season. So like right now we're doing a squid pancit dish, which is incredible.
Wait, is it
Yeah.
So fun fact is, I texted Mel like a week ago. I was like, can I get like, isn't squid jigging season starting soon? Because your dad jigs for all the squid for the restaurant.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I think we source really well. It's really hard to find squid here because there's really not a commercial, like a local commercial season or like market for it.
Yeah.
So he just comes in like a 5-gallon bucket.
He came in with like a huge cooler last week.
Yeah.
Because it's like the season started so early this
Right.
year, and he just goes, and he goes at 2 a.m.
Okay.
and it's amazing.
Seattle tradition. It's so cool. Does he go down to the main pier down by the aquarium, or where does he go?
He goes to either Alki or he goes to like Pier 69.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully we can go
So
together
I
soon.
think maybe like after a Saturday night service,
Great.
I think we can go.
It's a COVID-friendly activity. Squid jigging.
Yeah.
Pardon?
It's a COVID-friendly activity.
Yeah.
Squid jigging.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 feet away, just drinking beer
It should
and
be like,
snacking.
Yeah.
It should be like the next.
Eating lumpia.
In
Everyone's
Olympia.
competition with your dad. You probably got his like favorite spot.
He knows the time to go.
Can we do squid jigging as maybe a canvas class? Would he teach us?
He would.
2 a.m.
It'd be hilarious. he is hilarious.
Yeah.
How long are you frying?
Until it's done. We're gonna fry it till it's done, which is the technical answer. But you want to go dark. So right now we kind of have like a real color of the cutting board, and we want to go darker.
Kind of like the crispy burrito.
Actually, I'm speaking for the expert
The
here.
crispy beef burrito at Taco Time. Is that the color you're going for?
Crispy bean burrito.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, the bean one?
Well, I love the at Taco Time.
Yes.
Have you had the habanero chicken?
Yes.
That's my favorite.
Very good.
I love Taco Time.
Me too, same. I like all taco fast food, Taco Bell and Taco Time.
Taco
But
Time?
since this is a
If
Northwest
people are using
thing.
an air fryer, any tips for how to use an air fryer?
I've never used an air fryer in my
I've never
life.
used an air fryer in my life.
Maybe don't use an air fryer. Like, I'm not trying to be exclusive.
I
No, sorry,
know.
I don't know. I've never used one. I actually don't
I've
know.
never used one, but I've seen lumpia air fried in them, and they look like white. Like they don't get that golden, crispy.
Are they just like a
they-
dehydrator?
It's like a very intense
Sorry, I really don't
convection
know.
oven
Okay.
that just like is
Yeah. You gotta go for it.
Yeah.
Sorry, this isn't
It
like
doesn't taste the same. You
Yeah.
need the fat. of
Grandma
it.
would not approve of the air
No.
fryer.
No, you have an air dryer in your kitchen.
Air fryer? I do not have an air fryer, but I do have no.
I just bought one.
An air fryer?
I did.
Really?
Because I'm just so curious about it.
Oh wow.
So I'll let you know.
No shade. But,
Yeah. I just. It
I
cuts.
just got a microwave recently.
It cuts your
It's
time.
like microwave. Perfect.
Time is so important.
It's like my first microwave in like 10 years,
Yeah, I don't.
I think. Yeah.
I just moved
Yeah.
To Burien, and we have a microwave.
Yeah.
I haven't had a
I love
microwave
it.
in so
Reheating rice, it's perfect.
It's the future.
It is the future. Also, there's a plug for our microwavable TV dinners. I can't listen. All right, pancit. Yakisoba noodles.
Okay, so
And it's seasonal, so right now it's squid.
yes.
But we're...
So we're doing our summer pancit, but it can be eaten anytime. There's a lot of beautiful colors. This is kind of traditional in a sense. You're probably asking why we have yakisoba
Yakisoba.
noodles.
I love yakisoba.
Wanhua Foods is actually a Seattle-based noodle company, and we use them at the restaurant, and they are incredible. If you go to Fuli, they have a huge aisle of just noodles.
Yep.
Bihon dried noodles are great. Pancit canton noodles that are dried aren't really that great.
Really?
They just break when you cook.
Too brittle.
In the plastic, they kind of have like a cardboard flavor.
If you're using a dry noodle, what's the because we're using fresh noodles, what's the technique to cook the dried noodle?
Try and find the noodle that has like the integrity hasn't been broken.
Okay.
And you just soak the noodles in like warm water.
Okay.
And that's for the kanto noodles. It's really quick.
Okay.
But that will kind of help alleviate it breaking when you're cooking and trying to cook it in the sauce. For bihon noodles, which is the vermicelli, that one you can soak longer. That one has a lot better
More
structure
resiliency,
to it.
right?
But I find that these ones just really take the flavor really well and taste really fresh.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have garlic. For this recipe, we have onions, cabbages, celery, carrots.
Is there a reason why you're using 2 different color cabbages?
Just for color.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice. I like to eat the color in the
Yep.
eyes. So yeah, and then we have some peas here, and then the cilantro here is just for garnish.
Yep.
And then we have microgreens for garnish, and this is fried garlic. So at the restaurant, we just have like quarts of fried garlic to add to the top.
Do you fry that at a low temperature or? Yep.
Yeah,
So-
and we start.
I don't know if you can buy. Can you buy fried garlic?
You can, but it doesn't taste very
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
It's better when it's. And then the beauty
So
of
just mince it, fry it at a low temperature in a cheap neutral oil.
yes.
You're good.
And then the beauty is
Until golden brown.
until golden
brown.
brown. And then the beauty of it is that oil, you get to use it, or we use that garlic oil for cooking oil.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just always kind of reusing the stuff and adds more flavor
Yep.
to it. So yeah, that's
I'm
simple.
just gonna watch you do this.
Yeah, of course.
And ask questions.
Yeah, so garlic.
First question is how are we doing here?
Ooh, those look great.
Okay. So for those at home, it's starting to float at the top of the oil, which is often like a sign that things are done, and it's bubbling way less. So that
Yes.
means that things are cooked through, all the moisture's evaporated. Are we good to pull?
Yes.
Okay.
My dad would always say when the sound is done is the time
Is the time to pull?
Yeah. Cool. Garlic. I've got 2 cloves here. I'm just gonna smash and then mince.
And then I'm gonna show the people at home what our finished lumpia looks like.
Those look really good.
They look really good.
They kind of look
Red.
like.
Nelson, how they look?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Perfect.
And then,
I'm so hungry.
can you just show us how you serve them real quick?
Yeah. We usually at the restaurant you can cut them in different ways to get more people fed. You can cut them in smaller, little bite-sized pieces. You can also cut them like this just to make them a little bit more beautiful and more people can get more, or you can leave them whole.
The recipe I think we sent out also had mushrooms included.
For the pancit.
Oh, that's for the pancit.
That's for the pancit,
Okay,
yeah.
that's coming.
Nelson?
So yeah,
Come on. No, you're
for the pancit, it's kind of a forgivable recipe. It's like whatever kind of fresh veggies you have in the fridge,
I'm gonna
you
eat
can
one.
put into it. So we actually don't have mushrooms today. We just have celery, carrots, cabbage. Yeah.
Also, everyone loves your knife. What kind of knife is it?
This is my sous chef's knife.
Shout out Jonah.
Excuse me. Shout out to Jonah.
Jonah is maybe the queen of karaoke and telling jokes, but yeah,
She's
she's a riot and a really talented chef.
incredible.
But
And
do you
an
know
awesome
what kind
human.
it is or no?
No, I do not. I will find out. I will
We'll
get
add that
back
to the
to
class
you.
notes.
Yes, we'll follow up with you. Yeah, Jonah is amazing. You'll all get to know her, I hope, soon. 2 cloves of garlic. Gonna
We
keep
joke that if
moving.
like this class would go viral if Jonah was teaching it.
Absolutely.
Belting Whitney Houston.
I think so. We've done a bunch of events like in LA. She met John Yao, and everyone just remembers her because of her karaoke.
Karaoke master. That is very good.
It's really
it's so good. I like how like
Like
The
you
filling
can,
is
you can see
really
that-
structured.
Yeah.
the chunks of vegetables that come through. Flavor is really nice. The shrimp's really great. It does like add like a kind of like a brininess to it that gives it a lot of depth.
And the oyster sauce.
And the oyster sauce, yeah, actually, those too. And the Johnnies.
Excuse me. Okay, so garlic, onions. I'm gonna julienne them, so I'm just gonna slice them thinly.
The garlic's like a rough chop.
In Philippine cuisine, base of most dishes is always garlic and onions.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the carrot that we had earlier, and I'm going to... How do I want to cut this? Let's make it easy. I'm just going to cut this at a diagonal.
Yeah, kind of on a bias. So you just kind of just how you're feeling. You can cut it. There's no real wrong way
there's no
here,
wrong
right?
way. You can do matchsticks. You can do...
But just kind of like all the same thickness because right? Because you're
Yeah.
gonna throw everything in together.
Exactly. Cool. Carrots here. Celery. I'm going to take one stalk, take off the end, and I'm going to cut it on a bias as well. And pancit's a dish I think that... Yeah. Yeah, I feel like...
Maybe you pass those dumplings over here.
Oh, well, you gotta say it
Oh,
right first.
yeah.
That's the.
That's the
you gotta
only
say it right,
way.
Yes.
Oh, lumpia.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's not lumpia. It's lumpia.
Lumpia.
I think it.
I know. I'm just making sure everyone at home
Hold on.
knows.
For the cabbage, I'm gonna...
So that's
Oh, yeah.
quartered right now.
It's quartered right now. I'm gonna take out the core.
And you don't want to use the core just because it's really tough. And
And then I'm
Not
just
good.
gonna shred it. And I'm not gonna use the whole thing because there's a lot. But I'm gonna cut a little bit of the green.
A little bit of
we
both,
have,
right?
Yeah, so we have the color. And this is a dish, I mean, you can even ask Nelson, like it's at every single Filipino party.
Yep.
It feeds a lot of people. Everyone's happy. You get your vegetables in case you skip the salads, and you know, and it's like your fried rice. Whatever you have left, everything you want to include, just throw it in there. Keep making it, and make big batches of it.
Yep.
And it.
And you've made this in
Eats
like
well the
big
next
pans
day.
before, right? Like they're almost like paella pans. Like
Yeah.
they're these giant, like 3 foot almost. Am
Yep.
I being exaggerating? But they're like
No.
large pans and.
Yeah, when we cooked for you guys, we just took a paella pan
Yeah.
and cooked a big batch. But it's, I don't know, it is great. And then noodles in the Philippine culture also like extends long life. So if ever you have a birthday or like a celebration, like it's good luck to have pancit. So these I'm gonna cut on the bias as well.
Okay.
Just bite size. I think that's everything. Then the
Awesome.
garnishes I'll do after.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna crank this on.
Yes, crank it on.
How hot do you want it? Do you need oil?
Yes, I do.
Be right back.
Okay.
Wow, he's getting oil.
Yes.
How much oil do you want, Chef?
Just probably like 2 tablespoons.
Mal, didn't you say it's Filipino Heritage Month or History Month?
It's Philippine American History Month.
Tell us about that
Yes.
and what should be on our hearts this month. Yeah.
So October is Filipino American History Month. Yeah, that's great. In case anyone didn't know, there is Filipino American History Month. Sorry, there is a the founding chapter of the Filipino American is actually here in Seattle. Dorothy Cordova is the president, and her and her husband founded this month. There's a lot of history here. Why is it important? I think, and I had mentioned this to a friend when we were doing another kind of segment for the Filipino American History Month, was it's an opportunity for us to like kind of go back to our roots, go back and ask questions, especially immigrants that come here. Like, we oftentimes don't have the opportunity because it's like, hey, we're here in a new country, assimilate into the culture, learn to speak English perfectly. And I don't know, I think especially with Musang and how like a lot of the food that we cook is about the education of cuisine and Filipino cuisine, to be specific. We just want to give people an opportunity to like reflect on that. The theme for this month is activism, and looking back to the Filipino activists that have kind of allowed us to be here and provided us the opportunities for us. And for us at Musang, it's like, how can we be activists within food? Because that's the way that we really know how. And so, I don't know. For us, it's like, well, let's start our community kitchen.
Yeah. Which with those that aren't familiar, I think one of the things that's been most inspiring to me in the last 9 months is kind of seeing the work that you've done with the community kitchen with Chef. Who else involved? You have Chef T.
Yeah.
Chef Tariq.
So we started a collective called the Seattle Community Kitchen Collective when COVID hit, and it was Chef T, Cameron Hanine of Guerrilla Pizza Kitchen, Christy Brown and Damon Bomar of That Brown Girl Cooks.
And they're about to open a restaurant.
Which they're about to open Communion in the Central District. Guitar, who owns Sugar Hill and Capitol Hill, and then Shira Amlag of Hood Famous Bake Shop in the International District. We've all done like fundraising events together. We've all done community work. We've all done just like very like-minded and community-driven. And when COVID hit, it was like, what do we know what to do, and like how do we do it best?
Right.
It's like, let's cook food.
Feed people.
Let's feed people. And so I think it's just like a reflection, like this month for us is definitely a reflection as we're going into the fall and winter, and like how are we operating the kitchen? How are we showing up with intentionalness and mindfulness? Like how do we take these opportunities like this and like teach other, like the future generations, especially young Filipinos? I grew up and I didn't...
To be proud of their heritage.
To be proud of their
cuisine.
Yeah.
To like pass it on.
And I think for me growing up, I never saw someone that looked like me on the screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It was like French and Julia Childs, and which is incredible.
Very Eurocentric.
Yeah.
But they weren't you. They weren't your people.
Exactly. And I think that's when why did I go Italian versus going to the Philippines or embracing my culture. So for now, like if this is an opportunity, especially being here with you and like being in your guys' kitchen, like heck yes, like this is so important to be able to share. And I've got a lot of nieces and nephews and that are just learning like about Philippine culture and like the food and the flavors. And we're doing we call it the Musang Little Wildcats, and we're doing a cooking class every Sunday. Teaching.
Which if you haven't, you should follow on Instagram. But there's it's the cutest little
they're like
thing.
the cutest kids, and these
They're
kids
in
are
masks
learning.
and aprons and like doing knife cuts and
like pancit is what we teach them. That's the first thing that we teach them, so they can learn about knife safety and learn about the cuts. And then my cousin actually just sent me a picture today, and it was my two nieces in the basement playing restaurant.
it's so
And they just are constantly asking like when the next class is. But yeah, I don't know. For me, like just knowing that as a culture we exist, and that yes, right now it might be trending or a lot of eyes are on Filipino cuisine, but we've been here. A lot of us work in kitchens all over the city, but like
there were generations of restaurants that you grew up going to, and you want to honor them and be reverent towards them through your expression of Filipinx cuisine.
So I think if you have the opportunity to do some research, there are a lot of incredible Philippine-ran businesses here in Seattle. Hood Famous Bake Shop in the ID, Archipelago in Hillman City, Barcata in Edmonds. There's a bunch of pop-ups that are happening now by young, talented Filipino cooks that
including at your own restaurant on Tuesdays, which on Tuesdays we'll get the pancit. Check.
We do,
is
yes.
Is that good?
No, that's fine.
Okay. But you're doing something called Forest by Us.
Yeah, so on Tuesdays we're doing a pop-up series called Musang Forest by Us. So all of my line cooks every Tuesday get their opportunity to cook their own food. So yesterday I had a pop-up. Next Tuesday Kyle is doing Filipino soul food. Sean's going to do Filipino Hawaiian food. And it's just a way to give them the opportunities to just flex and like share and be creative
and learn and to express themselves and put themselves out there, which I think is really important and really hard as like a young cook, like to put it's vulnerable, like cooking, right, and to be sharing something that you're passionate about and to get that
learn
perception
from like start to finish.
Right.
Like what does it look like to write your menu? What does it look like to brand and market yourself?
Right.
Like, ooh, is that a cool idea? Like, maybe we should work that out.
Pick it and refine it along the way. much
Exactly.
Like you did the
Yeah,
last 4 years.
and it's like I want to be able
Adventure.
to give the resources that I learned and give it to them.
Yeah.
But right,
cool.
so Filipino
Really.
cuisine, it's always backwards from culinary school, but it's always garlic first,
Okay.
not garlic second.
And you're getting a little color in there.
We're gonna go pretty brown.
How's our temperature?
Yeah, I think
We're good.
we can go a little higher. I might get rid of a little bit of oil.
Okay. We can
And just
pour
put
it in.
here.
Oh, yeah. You're good. I'm a horrible sous chef. I put in like 4 tablespoons of oil. So just enough oil to kind of like coat the pan. And then garlic, you're getting some color on that.
Golden brown. Once it starts turning like this, I'm gonna add the onions.
So yeah, brown around the edges. Add your onions. Just kind of break them up with your hands. Separate them.
Yes. And then the magic salt. Johnny's.
Johnny's.
I always season as I go. And then the salt helps kind of sweat out the moisture too. I'm gonna go higher.
So you're using Johnny's, not kosher salt. or
Yeah,
not.
Johnny's. You can use salt too, but
But why use salt when you could use
when you can
Johnny's?
use Johnny's.
Right.
I'm trying to get this Johnny's salt. No, just
Johnny's
kidding.
SpawnCon. Hashtag Johnny's seasoning salt.
All right.
Everyone should tag Johnny's in there.
I wonder.
in this
I
as
wonder
well.
if Johnny's even has an Instagram though.
Just spam them. Just spam them.
Yeah.
Let's get Mel at. Johnny's
let's
Spawn.
do it. So we're gonna cook it till the onions are translucent.
So no real color, but just kind of sweating them out.
Yeah. I mean, it's great if you have like a fire. You could cook this in a wok. It's
So
nice.
color's not a bad thing.
Yeah, color and caramelization is not
Let
a
me
bad
crank
thing.
it then.
Yeah, let's go.
Don't be afraid of heat. That's what they would say. in
Yeah.
School, right? Like, or flame.
All right. Keep
Wow.
letting it go.
Yeah, just we're like, well, here. So one thing, I think a lot of people ask, and we haven't covered it here, but what or who is Musang?
Oh yeah,
And can you tell the story of
I can.
of that name?
All right, so Musang, our wildcat. Musang is my father's nickname. When he first moved to Seattle, he used to drive a black Mustang, but the T fell off, and so
Yeah.
instead of getting it fixed,
Yeah. He just owned it.
he just was like, cool, Musang.
Yeah.
And so him and his group of friends, they all had nicknames for each other. So one of his friends was Sly Pa'a, and Pa'a in Tagalog means feet because he had really large feet. There was, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting all their names, but I grew up with my dad's friends and only knowing their nicknames.
Right.
And so he became Musang, but then the irony of it is Musang in Tagalog means wild cat. And if you guys, some of you had the fortune of meeting my dad, he's incredibly hilarious
He's a wildcat.
and a wild cat. I mean, he's pushing 69 and he's still like out squidding
Jigging at 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
Our favorite is when he shows up at the restaurant and just, I think that night that you and Nelson came, he showed up during the screening with a pail of squid and then just was
it
like,
was a 5-gallon bucket and he had like a leather jacket on and just like.
and he was just
hat
like
low.
demanding that we cleaned it that moment so
Yeah.
he could make like this dish. And so
Everyone got to work.
everyone went to work. But why we named Musang after him is he's the one that taught me, you know, a lot about Filipino food. When I was younger, one of my first jobs in the kitchen was actually cleaning squid. And so he would always give me like the meanest jobs, like the most tough
Like
jobs.
really just throwing you into the deep end.
Just like, oh yeah, you can
Yeah.
clean the squid. And I'm like, but it's
Kill a
so,
crab. Clean
so
this
gross.
Yeah.
But then, you know, now
Yeah.
I actually like to clean squid.
Right.
So, all right, so
Around this ride.
yeah, getting color. Onions are cooked.
I'm gonna get that out of.
I'm gonna add the carrots.
Do you need any of this?
No, just the soy. Gonna put the carrots and celery. So just with the vegetables, You just want to you want to keep them like al dente,
Okay.
right? You don't want to overcook
So
them.
a little bit of bite.
A little bit of bite, so it's just kind of the trick of just getting this a little bit of color, because it's going to keep cooking while you add all the other vegetables.
So yeah, the onions have a little bit of like brown color to them. The garlic's still like getting nice and toasted.
Yeah.
A little bit more Johnny's.
A little bit more Johnny's. Yeah, and I don't want to forget my mom, because my mom's also incredible. Because everyone's like, Musang, Musang. But if you meet my mom, too,
She's so
like,
sweet.
she's the sweetest. And you always are wondering, like, how she ended up with my dad. Because she's so sweet.
Like, yeah,
It's
like
like
good balance. Yeah.
It's the opposites attract kind of thing.
My mom's so sweet. I met her at on the boards dinner. When you,
Oh,
you were cooking.
yeah.
I think I cooked like the week after or the month after you. So
Yeah.
check
All
it
right.
out. All right, so
This is great.
There's some like water that's releasing from the vegetables, which is good. But they got a little bite to them, so a
Yep.
little bit of crunch, and then so carrots are in there and celery,
Celery's
and
in
then the
there.
cabbage.
Cabbage, I'm going to put in.
How's your heat?
Heat's good. And then a step that I didn't mention, because I think I'm missing an ingredient, but for those that have the recipe at home, there's a bunch of liquids listed in the recipe. You have soy sauce. You have hold on, I'm gonna pull it up really quick so I don't mislead you. You have soy sauce, liquid seasoning, and mushroom stock.
Mushroom
But,
stock.
yeah, but for us, we can just use water.
Can you buy mushroom stock?
There's this brilliant packaged mushroom bouillon
Okay.
that you can use. We can probably add it in the notes later,
Okay.
but you can just add warm water, mushroom stock, and it adds a nice flavor. And then as you notice, this is all veggies. Oftentimes pancit has like shrimp or chicken, but I like this because
It's fresher.
it's fresher and
yeah.
like you don't really get a lot of veggie dishes.
Right.
All right, so cabbage is wilted.
Yep.
I'm gonna add the snap peas. A little bit more Johnny's. And then I'm gonna take this opportunity to taste.
Always taste your food.
Yep.
What are you tasting for?
Excuse me. So the reason why I season as I go is like, it's always hard to season at the very end.
Right.
Like if you put salt at the very end, all you're gonna taste is the
The
salt.
salt. Yep.
I just want to make sure that all the veggies have flavor.
Right.
The carrots are caramelized.
You should taste like the layers of all the ingredients that you added in. right?
Exactly.
Like everything should taste unique, not
Not
kind of like
what's
a
like
clumpy,
exactly
oily, salty mess.
So like when you do taste it, you're like, oh, I taste that individual carrot and it tastes like this. Like everything is cooked kind of separate.
Right.
That it pulls the flavors. All right, so here we are.
Okay.
Now it's time to add the noodles.
Okay. We good? Noodles? Add the noodles. So it's like 1, 2, 3 noodles. Is there a ratio that you like? No.
I mean,
This is just feel. You're cooking intuitively.
I'm cooking
You're cooking
intuitively,
yeah.
but I like a lot of vegetables
Right.
in my pancit. There's a lot, like when we do the kids classes, it's really funny because the kids are like, can we not have vegetables? But I
They just
like,
want noodles and
yeah,
sauce.
like you can see as I go, I don't want to spill over. There's definitely like almost,
It's vibrant, right?
Yeah.
And it's like
yeah.
really appealing to the eye and beautiful. And
So this is
Fresh.
a point where you would add your liquid mixture. So it would be the soy sauce, the nor, and the mushroom stock.
bouillon.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna add 2 tablespoons.
You haven't put any water in, right?
No water
No.
in.
Yeah.
But you'd put the mushroom bouillon in if you had it in place of water. That'll give you a little bit of depth of flavor, and that'll just kind of like activate, like the starches will just kind of come together, just like you're making a pasta, you're making
Yes.
a sauce in the pan.
Exactly. It's like if you had chicken stock, or if you had Like chicken stock would be great.
Right.
Yeah. Nor.
Mel, you know what I love about going home and trying to figure out recipes from my aunties and uncles, and mostly aunties, and I would see and ask
little
questions
bit of
about
water.
measurements, and I saw it in the last, like the dumpling class, how we cook off of instinct, and I saw old recipes and they said capfuls, right?
Right,
How
yeah.
crazy is that? And then there was one that said LAR, and it was like, Auntie, what is this? What's LAR? And just like you, she goes, looks about right. You just have to go off of feel, right? So you get everything. You use your instincts. Depends on the size of the
I saw
pan.
like Peter. Do you know Peter Cho at Hanok?
Yes,
so
I
he
love
does
Peter.
like he does like bowl swirls, like, and that's actually like his recipes are written like how many swooshes around the bowl with a sauce, like, yeah. Cooking intuitively, I think, is like it's such a fun way to cook.
If the noodles are sticking to the pan at home, what are they doing wrong?
Add water.
Add water.
Add water liquid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It means they have a
turn
little too
down-
much oil. Yeah. Less water. Turn down your heat.
Turn down your heat.
And then try to like get that off with like.
Take it off the heat.
Yep.
Add the water, and then the water can kind of.
Deglaze it.
Deglaze
I mean, give it a
it.
little scrape.
Don't worry though, it's gonna add a lot of flavor.
Awesome.
Sweet.
It's like, you know, the bottom when you have rice, like fried rice,
Yeah.
and it sticks to
great.
the pan. It's just adds nice little crispies
Hard
to
crispy
it.
rice.
All right, so just kind of letting
So
it go.
we have. You can see. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
You can see like. Bring it over
Yeah.
to the camera a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit.
It's gonna be that.
Yeah. So you can see there's some like liquid in the bottom of the pan here, and we're just kind of letting it come together.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep.
What are we looking for?
I like to cook it till it evaporates.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the same, like when you make pasta, the more you jump the pasta or
Right.
flip the pasta, the starches come out and it creates a nice, like, saucy.
Good. And that's kind of like why you like these noodles, right? You said that they take on the flavor well, which
Yeah.
they collect the starches. So like rice noodles or like vermicelli noodles, they don't, or shirataki noodles, like which I love, like they don't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't make this or like yakisoba with it because it just doesn't catch the sauces. There's
Yeah.
no starch in it that's like active. That's like really adheres sauce to it. So, yeah. So we're just cooking this down a little bit, kind of glazing the noodles as we go. You can use
can
tongs
smell it.
if you don't want to flip it and make a mess.
Probably at home, if you had a bigger pan, that would be helpful too.
And then how long will you cook this for?
Till all the liquid is evaporated.
Got it.
So that's kind of also the trick when you're cooking the vegetables, not to overcook the vegetables, because it's also
They're
still
steaming right now.
continuing to cook here.
This looks great.
If we wanted to make it spicy, what would you add?
That's a good note actually. Filipino cuisine isn't that like well known for
Spice.
spicy food unless you go down to the south. But I mean, you can use your own spicy preference. Like sambal is really
Sambal.
good.
Like layu chili oil, maybe, or
yeah.
like crispy chili flake.
Yeah,
like if you
the
wanna,
chili flakes I
the
think would be
langmangao,
really
like,
nice. Yeah.
A little fusion.
Yeah. So you can see here that the liquid is.
It's like thickening up, so it's
Yeah.
kind of bubbly.
So I'm actually gonna
It's
take
just
it off.
seeping
now.
a little bit. Yep. And it looks just like a really nice. I mean, I don't want to like compare it to like a Western noodle dish,
No.
but like just as you're cooking pasta, I mean, those are the similarities to like a good like carbonara or
Yep,
anything where
exactly.
it's not a bowl. Like you don't want it soupy.
Yeah.
Is what at the bottom. Like that's not good cookery, right? You want all the flavor to reduce
And to just like coat the noodles, you know, and it reduces the flavor, adds more like, just the flavor deepens. But that's it.
And that's our
That's it.
Awesome.
Sweet. Are there? Yeah. I think we covered it all.
I think so. Yeah.
So we're gonna eat. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I hope you learned something. We'll have class notes. Be patient with us. It takes us a little bit to get like the recipes and the class notes up there. So it might take like a few days to a week, or maybe even longer. But we'll get those up there. We promise we're working on it, but they will be there. Just like cut us some slack. Thank you, Mel,
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Thank you,
We're gonna go
Brady.
hang out
Yes.
and eat some of this. Oh, I'm gonna eat this delicious
Yeah.
food. I don't know if you want to eat it, but yeah, we're so honored that you came. And
Thank you guys for having me.
This is like so special to me to be able to cook alongside you and share this with you, or share this
you.
with everyone. And
Yeah.
And then tomorrow night, featuring Nelson DeKip,
oh yeah, Nelson will be doing
his first show, his first class as professor.
was it Wine Tasting 101?
Wine
Yeah.
Wine Drinking 101.
Wine drinking.
Yeah. For those of you, I've been filling bottles for the last 2 days into 3.5 ounce
That's actually
pours
true.
for 8 hours yesterday of the Rioja and the Riesling that you'll be tasting tomorrow. So super fun class. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Mel.
That's it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys so
This
much.
kitchen smells so good right now.
All right.
It's really something.
And we'll cut.